Everyone, this is Kelsey. I am doing some short videos. Instead of posting my class, the entire recording, I'm going to try to do shorter videos because I do assume that some people will want help on more specific topics and not necessarily want to watch the whole video. Also, there was a lot of background noise and a lot going on, stopping to help, that kind of thing, in the videos that we did during class. So I will be trying to add the week after class, or at least before the next week, or the class that I have, exactly what's going on. The webinars might be a little bit better to post, but given how much was going on and how many people were in the room, I wanted to do shorter videos when I was alone and there was a lot of quiet. So I just want to go over some of what we will be covering in my statistics class. So I'm going to enter presentation mode. So what will we be learning in the statistics class if you decide to take it? My first class talks about descriptive statistics and probability. The next thing that I'm going to go over in the next class is hypothesis testing and statistical tests. There's a reason why I'm going over these really basic topics. So you eventually probably want to learn more complex data science topics like machine learning, predictive analytics, big data analysis. I cannot go to that right away though. If you learn machine learning without learning these topics beforehand, you are not going to have enough background to do it correctly. So these are the basics that you need to master before you move on to the hard stuff. That's what I'm trying to do for my students, is to give them a good background so that they can do the more complex topics and skills right. And so students coming in with no statistics background don't panic and see how hard those other topics are and decide to quit. So that's what I'm doing here. Towards the end of the class, we're going to get into linear and logistic regressions, and then predictive analytics and model validation. So that's a lot closer to probably what the end game that you want to see, but a lot of statistics models are based on linear and logistic regression. It's a very common model, and it's also one of the more simple ones to run. So once you master this one, a lot of the other predictive models will make a lot more sense. So a little bit about my background. I have a bit of an unconventional background for a data scientist. I have a double BA in political science and psychology from Swarthmore College. I didn't get a lot of statistics classes. I didn't take a lot of them in college. I took a couple, but I got the majority of my statistics training getting my master in public health, or my MPH, at Washington University in St. Louis. As you can see here, I did a specialization in health policy analysis, which does a lot of statistics. It's more of an econometrics or economics side of things, but just as I was saying in the previous slide, if you get the backbone of statistics, you can more easily learn more complex models and machine learning models and all of that. So my work experience, I worked as a statistical data analyst at Washington University for a little over a year and a half. I did health policy research at this job. So I decided to get more into the data science field, and I decided to move into a data science role. I was a contractor at Bayer Crop Science. So I did more agriculture related work there. So I'll talk a little bit more about the projects I've done in a minute. But I'm currently a data science analyst at Whole Foods Market. The reason I am teaching this class and the reason I'm interested in getting into it, one, I really love it. So at Bayer, I did an intro to data science, an introduction to R, and an intermediate R class for my colleagues internally. And then I moved here to Austin, and I wanted to continue that with a general population. I think it's one thing for someone who works at a company like Bayer Crop Science that they have a lot of resources to learn that kind of this kind of topic, but people in the general population often have to pay a lot of money to get an in-person programming or data science course. So I wanted to offer that because I thought it was a good thing that I could do, and I really enjoy teaching. So this class, so what I'm going to try to do throughout this is to give some context of what you will be able to do with this eventually. So data science is a huge area, and I can talk better about what I've done. But if you stick with this course and you learn these basics, I'll be moving my way up in difficulty and doing more difficult coursework. But if you stuck through it towards the end, you could do something like this in the context of your work at your job. But I'm just going to give an example or two of what I did at my job. So one thing that I'm working on right now at Whole Foods is I'm looking at how competitor grocery stores opening or closing affects the sales of our Whole Foods Market grocery stores. So that's something that I'm doing right now. It's a statistical analysis to try to see, are sales going up when when HEB moves in down the street? When an HEB closes, are we getting more of their customers and is sales going up? So that's one example. Another example that I did that was more in the data science aspect is I predicted success in the seed production process at Bayer. So we looked at the genetics of our products and tried to predict whether they would do well or do badly based on a lot of different factors. And we then took those ones that were predicted to do badly, and we took some of the resources from those predicted to do well and moved them to the bottom. So then the goal, and it was successful in doing this, was to decrease failure across the board, moving resources from where we didn't really need them to where we really did. Another thing that I did, simulation is a big thing for statisticians and data scientists. It's really helpful for companies. I do have a published journal article on this one, but I use simulation to estimate how much a contraceptive project saved Missouri Medicaid. So there was a contraception project put into place by Warren Buffett's daughter. It was the Contraceptive Choice Project. They gave the contraception of their choice to 10,000 women in the St. Louis area, mostly low-income women who wouldn't have had access to this otherwise. So the one stipulation for this is that they had to get educated on each of the different contraceptions, how many times they fail, what their usual success rate is, what the risks and what the benefits of using those contraception would be, and then they got to choose what they wanted. And it turns out that more effective methods were chosen once they were educated about it. So we then did a simulation to estimate if we extended this to the entire state of Missouri, the Medicaid program, how much would that save Missouri Medicaid? So that's another example. I already went over this a little bit in my last video, but I will be doing R programming webinars alongside the statistics class that I'm doing. We're offering all of these on Saturdays, so the R programming webinars are going to happen on the weekends that we're not doing a statistics class in person at Millwood Library. So in order to find walkthrough tutorials that you can walk through yourself, you can go online to my website. I do have a video that I'm posting that goes through how to navigate my website. And you can also, I'm going to be posting these videos So you can have access to those. And it also has the schedule for my class that you can attend either via the web or in person if you'd like. So the class content, or where you can get the files. So I am making every file that I'm using in the class available. Hopefully, and usually at least 2 hours before class, I post the PowerPoint that I'm going to present along with the code and any optional exercises that I'm giving students that they can complete after class if they want more practice. So you can get all of that information from this link down here. So it's going to take you to my website, and if you need more information, watch the other video. I will also, the first 3 classes are longer, so there's going to be time to help a lot more. But the later classes are only an hour and a half. I'm going to go to the coffee shop. It's a Grind coffee shop down the street. If you want to ask me questions or chat about data science or anything else, just you can go there after the class is over. It's right down the street. So that's one option. You could also, if you are remote and you're not living in Austin, just get on the Slack channel, direct message me and say that you want to have some time to talk with me if you wanted career advice or you're having trouble with my code or code from work. I'd be happy to work through that with you. So the class resources, those PowerPoints, where the Slack channel is, all of that information can be found on this website here. So the PowerPoints, the code, everything. If you click here, pretty much everything is available on my website. So if you want access to those data files, that's where you would go. One other thing is I am giving an optional reading assignment for class for people who want a primer before they go into class, and so they can have some background before they go. It's totally optional, but feel free to go there and get that. This is a very plain language, easy to understand book, which is why I chose it. So if you're looking for something a little more technical, I would recommend getting this book, but I will not be teaching from it. I just know because I learned and took a grad class, and this is what they offered for SPSS because that's what we were using. But the R version is good, but it is a lot more technical. It has a lot of modeling and statistics in it, so it's going to be more difficult and math heavy. That's why I'm not using it for my course, but if you want more information, feel free to get this book. So that's it for the intro to what the statistics class will be like, what we'll be going over, and the resources that are available to you. I'm going to go through the concepts that I taught in the first class and put that video up very soon. Thank you.